Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the January 27th regular board meeting. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Esta junta se lleva a cabo en inglés, pero contamos con servicio de traducción. Si alguien gusta hacer un comentario público o recibir explicaciones en español, por favor indique su necesidad. I will now work through the agenda. Board, are there any proposed changes or modifications to the agenda? All right, hearing none, I will move on to the consent agenda. The items on the consent agenda were sent to the board and posted online last week. The board has had the opportunity to review the materials and ask the superintendent any questions they have about any items on the consent agenda. The consent agenda for this meeting includes the 1/13/26 regular meeting, the 1/20/26 board workshop, vouchers and payroll, personnel report, surplus report, contracts, field trips, November financial report, and the January enrollment report. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
All right, has been moved by Julie and seconded by Mark. Any discussion? All right, all in favor of adopting the consent agenda as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope. Okay, motion carries. Bright spots. Dr. Kalahar, I'll let you take it away.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Our Bright Spots moment at each board meeting gives the school board of directors and I an opportunity to highlight and celebrate district work that is happening and the educational experiences and opportunities that we're providing for our students. And welcome in, everyone. Welcome also our community members and students to School Board Appreciation Night. So we're happy to have you here. And we have some fun bright spots. So we'll start off with our Wenatchee High School floral class. We have some teachers and some parents and some students here, and we have these beautiful arrangements here for the school board members. But yeah, we'd love to hear from you about your experience in the class, and yeah, tell us a little bit about that. Let's go. Right up here to the podium, please. All right. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Us here tonight. My name is Hannah Schneider, and I teach the floral, intro floral and advanced floral program at Wenatchee High School, as well as the horticulture program. And so my advanced students today made you some arrangements, and then I just have a couple of kids that want to say something.
Thank you.
Hello, my name's Trenton. I am a second-year FFA member, which goes hand in hand with the floral and horticulture program. I love the horticulture and floral program for multiple reasons. One of those reasons is it gives students a hands-on experience on good information, and it gives us a product we are able to sell. For the horticulture, we do our plant sale that gives us all the plants and our funding for FFA. These classes have given me the experience that I haven't gotten in middle school or even at another high school prior to Wenatchee High School. This is a great experience, and we really appreciate all the funding we get for these programs.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Noelle. I'm also a second-year FFA member, and I actually got the opportunity to make Tucker's arrangement today. And I love the floral program because I've always been interested in floral and flowers, especially the horticulture program. And like Trenton said, the opportunity to be really hands-on and get to not only work with the community, but also just learn all those like super cool facts about the ecosystem and how plants work together just in general. And floral, I love being creative and being able to put all the different colors and stuff together. So having that chance to really use those skills in floral is awesome, and being able to make things like this for the community. Thank you.
Excellent.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you all for being here.
Yeah, and I'll just say these are beautiful, so thank you very much.
Yeah, very cool. Thanks so much.
I would
Yeah,
also
yep.
like to acknowledge, I would say probably for the last 15 years, I've attended your annual plant sale, and it's a gem for the community. What you guys are able to produce, if you guys haven't gone, you need to go, because it's nothing that you find in this valley. Good job, Hannah. And keep up the good work, and thank you.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you very much for being here tonight. Thank you for the arrangements. What a great celebration of our school board. We appreciate it. Also, we have our ASBs here, so we always get to hear from Wenatchee High School or Westside High School, and tonight we have Orchard Middle School as well. So go ahead. Louisiana is on our way, so you got it. You take us.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me here tonight. As we head into our new year, ASB has already hit the ground running. From promoting winter sports to planning school-wide events and fundraisers, our focus has been on bringing students together and keeping school spirit strong. Our Spirit team has focused on supporting and promoting our winter sports season. We kicked off the season with a winter sports kickoff during lunch to build excitement and school spirit. Since then, Spirit members have consistently shown up to basketball games, practicing and building up the energy we plan to bring to our largest winter event. A major focus this season has been Litter Box, ASB's annual fundraiser basketball competition between Wenatchee and Eastmont in support of the Make-A-Wish Foundation, which will be on February 10th at our Wenatchee High School gym. Much of our time has been dedicated to planning and preparing for this event, including visiting local businesses to collect donations, organizing the Litter Box assembly, and creating a Spirit Week leading up to the game. These efforts help increase participation, awareness, and school-wide involvement. In addition to event planning, publicity has been a strong focus. We have worked to stay active on social media, ensuring the events are constantly posted and not missed across WHS media platforms. This includes promoting upcoming events such as Litter Box and Pantherpalooza. We have also focused on keeping winter sports visible and up to date by posting themes, game times, and reminders. Promotions include creating flyers, social media posts, and slides displayed on TVs throughout the school to help spread awareness and encourage attendance. ASB has also been prepping for the annual Janice France talent show in February, with all funds going towards supporting a community member. Additionally, we hosted Coco Cafe, an event we have not held since COVID. This event gave students the opportunity to enjoy hot chocolate and work on studying before finals, creating a welcoming and supportive environment for everyone. Senior Senate has actively been working on planning and hosting Senior Movie Night, which is tonight, creating an opportunity for seniors to connect and spend time together. In addition, we have began developing the graduation timeline and preparing for the upcoming required graduation meeting. Our team has also been planning for graduation speakers and finalizing the list of candidates that will be presented to the senior class for voting. Alongside this, we have been collaborating with the senior parent group to plan graduation celebrations and events, as well as working to publicize these opportunities to ensure strong participation and awareness. Junior Senate has secured approval for several upcoming fundraisers, finalized the theme for prom, and began planning decorations. We have been in contact with the Wenatchee Valley College regarding plans to host prom at the WVC Student Recreation Center, as well as coordinating with our DJ. The Sophomore Senate has been working on finalizing plans for Pantherpalooza, including setting a date and communicating with participating food trucks and musical groups. This event will showcase student talent and provide an exciting experience for school community. Meanwhile, the diversity team focused on planning and conducting research and planning the Martin Luther King Assembly, identifying meaningful activities and content. They have also began brainstorming future initiatives, including a multicultural potluck that would celebrate the diversity of our school through our food and culture. Overall, ASB is starting the new year in full swing, with strong collaboration, consistent promotion, and exciting events ahead. We are looking forward to continuing to bring energy, connection, and school spirit to our students and community. We look forward to seeing everyone at these events, and if you have any questions, I'll answer those now. And I know that was a lot, but we've been working really hard, so.
Sounds like it. That's great. You're probably headed to a movie here pretty soon. Is that right?
Yes.
What movie is?
Surf's Up.
Okay, Surf's Up. All right.
And the senior class had the opportunity to nominate movies and vote on them, so it was super cool. So yeah.
Very nice. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. All right. That was good. Okay, we'll jump over to West Side with Gwen Costello is here. Thank you, Gwen.
I just want to say thank you for having me here tonight. So My name is Gwen Costello, and I'm the vice president of the Westside Leadership Club. And our next Wellness Day will be in February 11th. It's called Skills for Life. So it consists of car emergencies, car maintenance, basic first aid, basic house repairs, and fire safety and preparedness, hiking, camping, and preparation. How to grow a garden, child and baby care, and so much more. We will have staff members, community members, and as well business owners who will be teaching the classes. Students will be able to choose 5 to 14 sessions that they are able to attend. And next week is our National School Counselors Week, and we are excited to celebrate our counselors, Heather Rosa and Jonathan Godina. They are the livelihood of our school, and we really appreciate the work that they do for us and their families as well. So that is next week. And on February 10th, we will be taking 3 Suburbans full of students to a field trip on Perry Technical Institute to Yakima. And it is a huge, huge thank you to CTE Pathway Coordinator Mrs. Murray for putting all of the career-connected field trips together for us this year. So thank you, Ms. Murray. And on February 13th, Sage Hills will be catering our High Rollers Luncheon. And this luncheon is for every student who earned 2 or more credits each semester. So Sage Hills sponsors this luncheon for 3 years each year for about 10 years now. And finally, we are very proud to announce Westside Junior Madeline Sutton has earned first place in quick serve restaurant management and qualified for the state DECA conference. Sophomore Skylar Simon received a top 6 medal for her exam score in retail merchandising. And Caden Carbajal represented Westside in quick serve restaurant management and with a strong performance. We congratulate our team and thank our DECA advisors, Mr. Brandt and Mrs. Day, for encouraging and helping those 3 students. And this brings me to the end of our update. If you have any questions, I would gladly answer them right now. Thank you.
Great job, Gwen.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right, and we typically hear once a month from our high schools, but this month we have our middle school. Orchard Middle School is here, so please join us and tell us what's happening at Orchard Middle School. Look at this group. I love it.
All right. Hi, I am Maddie Atwood. I am Orchard's ASB advisor, and just giving you some insight. Today you're going to hear from 8 out of 10 of our officers, and they were elected last year in the spring, so they're all 7th and 8th graders. They're excited to be here and try something new, and hopefully we get more opportunities like this. So I'm just going to let them go.
Are we introducing ourselves? Okay. My name is Ariel, and I am one of the presidents at Orchard Middle School.
My name is Alexis, and I'm one of your secretaries.
My name is Caruso, and I'm vice president at Orchard Middle School.
My name is Eli, and I'm another vice president at Orchard Middle School.
My name is Theo Jackson, and I'm a treasurer at Orchard Middle School.
I'm Max Meyer, and I'm the other treasurer at Orchard.
I'm Micah Berry, and I'm one of the secretaries at Orchard Middle School.
I'm Dean. I'm speaker.
First, we'd like to talk about Spirit Weeks. This year, we are focusing on making Spirit Weeks more inclusive and engaging for all students. We planned a broad range of themed days so more students can participate in ways that feel comfortable for them.
In addition to themed days, ASB also organizes lunchtime activities and events during Spirit Week, so students can have more opportunities to get involved, connect with friends, and show school spirit.
We make sure to celebrate all the students who participate, not just competition winners. So Spirit Weeks feel fun, positive, and welcoming for everyone.
Next, we want to share about our school assemblies. Our goal is to create assemblies that actively involve both participants and the audience. We include interactive activities that help build a sense of inclusion and school pride. We also use assemblies as a time to recognize hardworking students, celebrating positive behavior and leadership across grade levels.
Another important event we helped lead was 6th grade day on the first day of school. ASB students led 2 assemblies to welcome our incoming 6th graders. We also joined student groups as they traveled across different stations around the campus, helping them learn more about Orchard, our expectations in our community. This helped new students feel more comfortable and connected from day one.
We also want to highlight how ASB is giving back to the community. Before winter break, ASB helped put together food baskets for families in need. Orchard staff and students worked together to organize and sort boxes that were given to families. This was a meaningful way for students to support our community and show care for one another.
Next, we would like to talk about Student Council. This year, we introduced the Student Council as a new leadership opportunity to get more students involved. Last spring, we had so much interest in ASB elections that we were able to have 2 officers for each position. The Student Council now gives additional students who are interested in leaderships a chance to participate, share ideas, and support school activities. We meet as a student council at least once a quarter.
Finally, we'd like to share an upcoming event that we're excited about. ASB is hosting a talent show on March 4th. This event will give students the opportunity to showcase their talents, build confidence, and come together as a school community to support one another.
Overall, ASB is focused on creating opportunities for students to feel included in our school community. Thank you for your time and for supporting students' leadership at Orchard. In honor of School Board Appreciation Month, we put together this poster to say thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Yes, thank you, Orchard Middle School. We appreciate your leadership, the inclusivity, and bringing the 6th graders in the right way. So thank you for sharing with us, and we hope to have you in future board meetings. Thank you, Principal Royster, Assistant Principal Edson, and Maddie, thank you for joining us as well. Appreciate it.
All right. That'll be a tough act to follow for citizen comments, but Kim, do we have any? And we don't have to worry about it. And then goes back to you, Corey, for special presentations.
Excellent. Well, thank you, everyone. Have a great night. Mm-hmm. That was great. Well, welcome to school.
The rest of the meeting.
School Board Appreciation Night. Now that our bright spots are over, this is still going to be a bright spot. I'll walk you through each of the items that are on the wall here a little bit, but I just want to share some words. Each January, Washington pauses to recognize the extraordinary service of our local school board members, community leaders who step forward not for recognition, but out of deep belief in the promise of public education. Their work can sometimes be quiet and behind the scenes, and other times it can be robust and filled with comment. Yet in each situation, the work carries immense responsibility. School board members represent their neighbors, they listen with care, and they lead with conviction, ensuring our schools remain strong, responsive, and focused on what matters most, our students, who all just left. School board service takes courage, and these volunteers sitting with me face complex decisions about learning, safety, staffing, budgets, enrollment, like tonight, and long-term planning, often under public pressure and with limited resources. They also do this while balancing their lives, their careers, their families, their personal obligations, showing up meeting after meeting because they believe every child deserves opportunity, dignity, and hope. Their volunteer leadership is a powerful reminder that public education is a shared commitment shaped by community voice and strengthened through democratic responsibility. So during the School Board Recognition Month, we honor the time and the sacrifice, the steadfast dedication of our school board members that they give to our students, staff, families across our district. Their service helps protect the future of our communities by ensuring schools are places where every learner can grow, thrive, and succeed. So to our school board members, thank you for your brave leadership, your courageous advocacy, and your unwavering belief in the people that you serve. And so as you can see throughout the room, we have several schools and departments that are sharing their appreciation with you. So behind you, you may have seen each of you has a framed picture from Lewis and Clark. You have the rest of the portraits there from Mission View. Over here we have a West Side poster thanking the school board. And then next to that, we then have John Newberry Elementary and all of the hands that are supporting you as well. Then we move on to the first Mission View entry over there in the 4th grade classroom. And then next to that is the flowers that are blooming is from Lewis and Clark. And Pioneer has their poster over there as bears, helping the school board is helping Pioneer soar. And then we have Sunny Slope behind Kelly. And then we have another Mission View kinder classroom there. And then if we keep going to the right, there's a Mission View TK classroom where the students wrote their names, and it's super cute. You're going to have to check that out. All of our 4th graders spelling their names. Then there's a transportation poster, and then another Mission View classroom. So thank you for everything that you do. We appreciate you and your volunteerism and your deep commitment to public education. Love it. And we have a special treat for you after the board meeting that you can take your flowers to. So we'll have that. Yes. And next, that is your treat. Next, we have 2 presentations from Executive Director of Business and Finance, Sean Fitzgerald. So we're just going to introduce him once for both presentations, and he realizes that he's the main event. He's got it. He's got it covered. He's ready to go. Thanks, Sean.
All right. There you go. Thank you. It's buzzing. 1 second. Going to do our little test drive first. There we go. Perfect. All right. Good evening. President Jackson, members of the board, and Dr. Kalahar, it's great to be here tonight to present on 2 presentations tonight. The first one will be our legislative update. This will be the first of 3, and then followed by an update on enrollment forecasting. So just to start off with our background, the state legislature is required by the state constitution to meet on the 2nd Monday of January. So this fell on Monday, January 12th of this year. And so we have 2 set, and then the legislature works on a biennium, so 25, 27. So they passed their budget during the 2025 regular session, and then they meet again for 2026 for the supplemental budget. So first, they operate under 2 sessions. The first type is the long session, where they create the 2-year budget. This lasts 105 days, so it starts in January and it ends in late April. And then the second year, which we are in, is the short session. This lasts 60 days, where they discuss the supplemental budget. And then finally, although the legislature is required to begin and end the legislative session based on the Constitution. They can also enter in what is called a special session after the regular session ends, and those can last up to 30 days each. So it's not just in case of if it, the legislative session did go into a special session, it'd be 30 days, and then they could have another special session that could go 30 days, etc. So they have that option. So again, as mentioned before, we are in a short session. So the benefits of a short session is that 60 days moves fast. So we know what if everything goes according to plan and they don't go into special session, we tend to know where the state's gonna end up with funding school districts for the next school year. So that helps us make our budget decisions earlier in the school year rather than waiting until the end of April. The drawbacks, well, 60 days moves fast. So it's a double-edged sword. So again, even though they are having a lot of budget discussions this year, they're not going to be as substantive as they would in a long session. So they operate, they have cutoff, they have deadlines. So things, start off in the respective House and Senate committees, and then they have to move bills through in the first 2 or 3 weeks before they move to the floor, and then they have to go back and forth between the House and the Senate. So in that time, they're trying to move through a lot of bills. There's not going to be a lot of discussion, and tends to be more policy-based. Just a recap of what happened in the 2025 session. Probably one of the biggest things for the school districts in general was in special education. So the enrollment funding cap was lifted. So in prior years, this has always been something that's caused me an anxiety because they've always put a cap on our special education funding. And the cap was 16% of your overall district enrollment. And so we were always slowly approaching that limit. And then, as soon as you reach that limit, the state would stop providing funding for you. So you would have to look for alternative sources of revenue. In this case, maybe additional levy funds. But the state had that strict cap. Last year, it was lifted. They also did a uniform funding system. So, I think they implemented this change maybe 5 or 6 years ago. They split out the funding system depending on how much time a special education student spent in the general education classroom. So it was like greater than or equal to 80%. If they were in a general education classroom, the district would receive greater funding, and then less funding if they spent less than 80% of that time. They've done away with those requirements. They combined the two systems, so it doesn't, regardless of student time in a general education classroom, everyone's going to receive the same funding. MSOC, again, this is all, materials, supplies, and operating costs. Again, year after year, WASA and other school districts, there's always a funding bill for this. Part of the Big Three, I'll go into more detail on that later, but always looking for funding increases in this area to keep up with inflationary costs. There were several bills, both in the House and Senate last year, that had proposed significant increases in MSOC, which would have been greatly welcome. And then also talk of actually tying MSOC funding to an actual inflation rate, either IPD or CPI. However, as that bill progressed through committees in the House and the Senate, compromises are made and the funding was pulled back. And so we did get some funding increases, but not as originally proposed. And then unfortunately, there was no tying to annual inflation. So they what is called kind of the back-end approach. So they kind of look like, okay, what do we have left in our budget that we could fund MSOC, and then just plug that in. So anytime they're funding MSOC, it's not tied to inflation. We also saw increases both to the local levy lid and some increases in funding to local effort assistance related to inflation. Then also, as cited, Clean Buildings Energy Act, we're always paying attention to this. There were some alternative metrics adopted with some financial hardship exemptions passed in that. Other things, significant items related to the district, pupil transportation. So again, a funding bill was proposed last year to increase pupil transportation. As you know, we used about roughly $500,000 in levy funds to help fund pupil transportation, and we would have liked to see this bill pass. So that would, take away from levy funds and actually have the state funding pupil transportation. Proposed changes to the funding model did not pass, so the status quo remains. There was a lot of talk last year about the simple majority bill. But unfortunately, that did not pass either, so the supermajority of 60% remains. Another area of contention, sales tax and services. So the legislature, passed a wide array of tax increases last year. One of them was on services, which also impacts school districts. There is a bill this year to kind of carve out an exemption for school districts, or at least to mitigate the impact of those taxes. Transition to kindergarten, enrollment was capped at 24-25 enrollment levels. And then capital budget, there was cuts to planning grants and construction funding. Moving on to 2026, generally, going into the governor's budget proposals, generally we don't pay, I wouldn't say a lot, pay attention to it, but the governor's budget proposal, it's the legislature that's driving it. And the governor does release his annual budget in December, kind of his budget proposal in December. You kind of see where he's coming from, but ultimately it's kind of where the legislature is kind of driving the budget process. But we did pay more close attention to his proposal this year because Governor Ferguson was actually proposing education reductions. And so some of our concerns are the elimination of the planned increase to local effort assistance. This one is concerning because last year, as I mentioned, they passed an increase in this funding just to adjust for inflation. And the great thing about LEA is, we rely on this funding instead of going out for a higher levy. And so we plan around this funding. And so it's kind of concerning that last year they're passing an increase, and then this year the governor is proposing a rollback of it. Another area of concern is transition to kindergarten. Every year there always seems to be, Olympia is always looking at limiting, a few years ago there was a proposal to eliminate TK altogether. And as we know, they put a cap on the enrollment last year. And now the governor is proposing a 25% reduction in statewide in TK slots. So again, paying close attention to what the legislature wants to do with TK. Running Start rate reduction, so 1.4 to 1.2, so that would be less funding for Running Start. And then extension of school bus depreciation to 15 years, so again, reducing near-term transportation funding when it relates to purchasing buses. And then reduction to a couple of grants related to professional development for admin and principals. So areas of focus. So this year, state budget shortfall has been projected of $2.3 billion. So the legislature is looking at cuts and not increases to cover this deficit. Other areas is the state income tax. The governor has proposed a tax on personal AGI above $1 million. Also of area of interest is what we call the big three. These are areas where state funding is insufficient to meet current needs. So special education, pupil transportation, and MSOC, as I've already mentioned. Again, TK, again, the governor's proposal to cut enrollment. And then looking at, we have the governor's proposal on an LEA rollback, but there's also legislation about both increasing LEA funding and increasing the levy rate from $2.50 per 1,000 to $3. And then another area is just unfunded and underfunded mandates. So according to WASA, since about 2017, the state legislature has passed over 100, mandates for school districts on, whether it's finance or education, curriculum, et cetera, that we have to comply with, that the state has not provided funding with. I mean, for us, the biggest one is the Clean Energy Act. We're able to fund that because we have the assistance of our local PUD to assist us with that. But the state is not providing any sort of assistance to school districts to comply with that act. So getting down into detail for certain bills, so we have House Bill 2160 and its companion in the Senate 5883. And this relates to SEB eligibility, and this kind of goes under the unfunded mandate bullet point in the previous slide. But basically, the proposal is benefits eligibility in the SEB program is presumed at the start of a school year if the school employee worked at least 630 hours in the prior school year and returns to the same type of position with any employer. So just the issue with this bill, again, it's an unfunded mandate, assumes district will cover the cost without additional state funding, and presumes the district is tracking potential employee hours from the prior year, even if they worked at a different school district or different employer. So a lot of the language in this bill right now is very vague, and I think a lot of the discussion has been around clarifying what is going into this bill, how is it calculated, how is it being tracked. So that's the current discussion on this bill. We also have Senate Bill 5918, so again, another MSOC funding bill. So again, this bill would propose to increase MSOC by $100 per pupil or $100,000 per district, whichever is greater, to help districts close the funding gap related to MSOC. Again, this would be a welcome bill, but what I'm hearing, just been on legislative updates from both WASA and WASBO, this bill does not have a lot of traction. It seems in the committee, it's basically the pushback is, we're in a budget deficit, we don't have the money to fund this bill. So not a lot of high confidence in this bill progressing this year. Updating House Bill 2116, updating school enrichment funding. So I mentioned earlier, beginning in 2030, increasing the maximum levy rate from $2.50 to $3 per $1,000 of assessed value. And then also beginning in 2030, increasing the local effort assistant rate from $1.50 to $2. And then actually using the consumer price index as our inflationary measure, as opposed to the implicit price deflator. So translation, that would be more funding, because CPI is generally usually operates on a higher rate than the IPD. We have House Joint Resolution 4201, again, lowering the bond threshold from the supermajority of 60% to the simple majority. We'll pay, again, another year, we'll pay close attention to see how this progresses. We also have Senate Bill 6113 and its companion, House Bill 2257. So again, this is leading to addressing Senate Bill 5814, which was the tax on the school districts for professional services. So again, this would be a welcome bill because it would provide exemption for school districts so they would not be taxed on these services related to technology or professional development that, before last year's legislative session, we were not taxed on. As I mentioned in the last board meeting in discussing minimum fund balance, at the time OSPI had a draft bill, but now we have a House Bill 2593 for maximum and minimum fund balance for reserves. So beginning in the 2030-31 school year, depending on your enrollment size, so we would qualify under the first bullet point, 2,000 FTE or more. So we would have to set aside 6% to 12% of the district's prior year state apportionment. And then if you're a small school district of less than 2,000 FTE, 8 to 34%. Basically, it's and then OSPI is going to be calculating that amount for us. And then it would be classified as restricted fund balance. So again, could only be used for certain purposes related to fund balance reserves. 2551, House Bill, maintaining the financial solvency of school districts. So for those school districts in binding conditions, which OSPI defines as having a fund balance of 3% of its estimated total current year revenues, you can submit a proposal to Chris Reichdahl, and you can sell property to restore financial stability and prevent adverse impacts to student learning.
Would OSPI be able to mandate that, or is it the district's choice to sell land, or is it?
It would be the district's choice to
couldn't
sell land.
force like fire sale on everything around.
No, I don't think this is Chris Reichdahl exercising eminent domain.
I was like, Chris.
No,
Bold.
Go ahead, sorry.
No, okay. Thank you. I just was like, that seems like maybe that's not where you want to go.
No, a school district would propose, like through a resolution, yes. Any questions about the bills at hand?
So the bond's back.
Bond's back.
Were the buses 10 years before? They said extension to 15 years for the transportation. Do you know what their
I do not. I know our director of transportation is watching right now, so I will reach out to her tomorrow and get you an answer for that.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
I have a quick question, and you may not know. But if the state mandates our minimum fund balance, and so we maintain just their lowest minimum, does that impact potentially our credit rating and whatnot for like bonding or anything? Because now instead of being responsible and choosing our own limit, we are now forced to have this restricted fund, and if we choose the least amount of the restricted fund, now it looks worse than if we had a higher restricted fund.
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, just looking at the face of it, yeah, I mean, it could possibly, if we're changing our reserves based on a state mandate, I mean, you could definitely make the case if we're presenting that to Moody's that we're operating within state law. But it would definitely be a change if we were to be more conservative or wanted to hold on to more reserves.
I have a question, and you might not know the answer, or you may or may not. And it's not related to this, but if there is a federal shutdown because of the budget, would that impact us for this year?
It would depend. I haven't heard anything about what areas would be impacted. And I say that because last year we were kind of getting regular updates about where and when we could be impacted in certain areas. It seems right now that's kind of an unknown. And so it's just we're going to have to see what gets passed and what doesn't get passed on Friday. Yeah. So next board meeting, so again, this is the first of 3. Hope to have a next update on February 24th and give you an update to see where these bills are progressing. And then kind of a final presentation on March 24th. Hopefully will not be in special session, and that the legislature had passed a supplemental budget on March 12th. All right, any other questions? All right. Thank you. All right, moving on to our enrollment forecasting update. So just some background. Again, the data, we've been having these conversations on a regular basis, and this is just showing what we've been discussing in the last 12 months. So again, we had the last update was on October 28th. Kind of did an in-depth analysis of our enrollment as of October and updated our forecasting. And then again, I present a lot of our enrollment data during both our official and preliminary budget. And then in March, we heard from MGT, our demographer, formerly of Davis Demographics. And then last year at this time, we had a board workshop on our 24-25 enrollment. So again, consistent and regular updates on enrollment, both at our regular board meetings and workshops. And then just future enrollment updates. So I confirmed with Marcy Horner our demographer with MGT. She will be coming on March 24th to present her updated numbers. And then, kind of consistent with our cycle, provide more in-depth enrollment analysis and forecasting in June and August, and, update our numbers from budget to actual in October for 26-27 school year. So background, again, state funding is primarily driven by enrollment and makes up about 75% of district funding. And as you are aware, our budget FTE drives our state apportionment funding from September through December, and then it's adjusted on actual enrollment in January. Historically, September is our lowest count of the year, just because we don't have Running Start hasn't started yet. And then October is historically our highest count of the year, and then overall generally gradually declines throughout the school year. And then again, the focus is on our actual basic education, transition to kindergarten, alternative learning. We do discuss Running Start and Open Doors, but the focus is on those other areas because those are the ones driving our funding, and the other funds are passed through. So just kind of a reminder slide, when Marcy comes next in March, you're going to notice differences when you're reviewing her report versus what I present. And kind of the biggest reason is I use FTE, full-time equivalent. She's going to be using our head count. So you can see on the right-hand side just the difference. Looking at the October 2025 data, you can see just the variance between our head count and FTE is about 251 FTE. And again, that's just due to, again, full-time equivalent is how much time a student is spending in the classroom. So a student could spend, a partial amount of their day in the classroom and be counted as a 0.5 FTE. But based on the head count, they would be counted as, a full 1.0. So that's where you're kind of seeing those differences. I focus on FTE because that's what drives our funding. One of the things that MGT does, I look at the school enrollment. They're focused on enrollment by residency. So they're looking at where students are, the vicinity of where they live, where they reside, and whereas the school district is looking at what school they're going to. And then MGT projections are based on the total. So again, on the right-hand side, they're going to be using that total number. District, we're going to be breaking out Running Start, Open Doors, TK, BEA. But ultimately, it is the same data source, and the numbers are different, but the trends are the same.
Sean, so school versus residency, does that mean that if someone's in our boundary but going to Eastmont, she's going to count them as ours?
That's a good question for her. I mean, I would say she's definitely, so now I'm thinking back some of her prior reports. So yes, and she would identify that students are like, yes, this student resides in here, but they're actually outside of the school district. Okay. Or they're going to a different school within the district. Correct. Again, a familiar slide, just comparing birth rates in kindergarten. So as we can see, we're in the 25-26 school year. Again, we don't have 2025 birth rates. It was nice, hopefully we'll get those in the summer, like we got our 2024 birth rates just in time for the budget hearing. But this is the most up-to-date data we have available from the Department of Health related to birth rates on the top line. So again, paying attention, there's this correlation between birth rates and kindergarten. And so in 25 to 25-26, we see that decrease in the birth rates. And so we saw a corresponding decrease in our enrollment. Previously, I've been showing you, October data has put us at 381. With the methodology, it's showing kind of a gradual uptick in our kindergarten enrollment, and thinks we're going to finish at 386, so up 5 FTE. But as we can see for the next few years, we're seeing a gradual decline, continuing decline in birth rates, not as substantial as prior year, but still a decline before increasing with the 2024 birth rates, which are factoring into the 29-30 school year. And again, just for comparison, we're projected to finish at 386, and looking at Eastmont's kindergarten, they're at 397. Just a slight update, again, another familiar slide that we've seen as recently last week, our last board meeting, excuse me. The only change here is that there's been very little change between kind of updating the October enrollment to the actual projection. So we're still seeing the overall decline between 24-25 school year up to 29-30. Previously it was at 884, just updating the numbers still puts us just a difference of about 3 FTE. So again, things are remaining consistent in the projection realm. Again, here are the same numbers, just a breakout by grade levels. Again, continuing to pay attention to the decline in the 500 plus FTE courses as they move through elementary. Then they get to middle school at the 6th grade level. And then we see some of our larger classes, 7th grade and beyond, as they move through into high school and graduate, they're being replaced by smaller kindergarten classes. So again, 26, 27, 488 versus 376 at kindergarten. 12th grade and 27, 28 is a 500 versus 369. So again, we're seeing this decrease in enrollment just because graduating classes are leaving, which are larger than the incoming kindergarten classes. Again, the only change here is basically with our year-end projection for 25-26, with our October data, it was showing about a decrease of 86 FTE from prior year. That's gone down to 114. That was kind of expected. Again, it's aligned with historical trends that throughout, we peak in October and then our enrollment gradually declines throughout the school year. And then again, just kind of updating, looking at the numbers in a different format and seeing the impact at the different grade levels and our school levels. Again, not much change from what you've previously seen for the next 5 years. And again, we have our long-term enrollment forecasting, again, subject to change. Again, the focus is on the first, again, those 5 years we've been looking at in detail. But again, if we were just assuming we had stable birth and capture rates and we had consistent 400 FTE at our kindergarten levels, we would not see enrollment stabilization until the 2037-38 school year. And again, even if we had a stable and continuous enrollment class each year, again, it's just those larger classes moving through the system and graduating until we reach some sort of stability. And so again, this is a long-term forecast and we'll be updating it, as we get more data, but I probably wouldn't see a significant change in this data until next school year as we get more birth, get in, the 2025 birth rates and see how that impacts our capture rates and the birth rates. Those are kind of what are primarily driving this long-term forecast. So if we saw an increase in those over the next year, the slope would improve, but it's still going to take some time for the system to, process and move through to the smaller classes. So in summary, again, forecast 25-26 enrollment projected to decline during the school year, but overall forecast remains unchanged. And then enrollment decline during the school year is normal and consistent with historical trends. Again, with birth rates, we're seeing some stabilization at our birth rate level in the 28-29 school year, but it'll take several years later for overall enrollment to stabilize as graduating classes are replaced by smaller kindergarten classes and they move through the system. Looking at capture rates, based on the methodologies, we saw a slight increase in the capture rate just based on the methodology by 76 to 77%. 1% generally translates to 5 FTE. And then again, projections are conservative. So we're not factoring in any sort of possible growth scenarios we may be implementing, at the end of the school year for beginning of next school year. So again, this is conservative, and once those scenarios kind of come into place, we can provide updated data. Any questions?
So when I talk to Principal Jelsing at Valley and she says, I have a wait list for next year, we're not adding that into the projections.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll add as just a comment, and this is, the work that Sean does with our enrollment projections is great, and his methodology is sound and it's spot on, so we appreciate all of that. We are working very hard on combating that curve and doing everything we can to increase FTE and enrollment and to reach out to our community and see what their needs are and what would bring people to our district. So continuing, that is the good work. That is the the competitive edge that we want to have as a school district. But I thank you for clarifying that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Sean. Okay, so we've got our special presentations down. We have an action tonight. Resolution number 126, a resolution to transfer funds from the general fund to the capital projects fund for the Wenatchee Valley Technical Skills Center. Do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
Move to approve resolution number 0226, transferring funds from the general fund to the capital projects fund for the Wenatchee Valley Tech Skills Center.
Second, is what I do? Okay.
Crushing it. Nice work. From everyone here, hearing from your legislative representative. All right, it has been moved by Julie and seconded by Caroline. Any discussion?
Just for clarification purposes, is this 0126 or 0226?
It should be 0226.
Oh.
Sorry, that was...
No, the motion was correct. It's just the agenda says 01.
All right, apologies.
From the actual resolution, so.
0226. Nice work, Julie. And good catch. I would just reiterate this. We talked about this last board meeting. This is not, we're not spending district's money. This is, we're putting money into the capital budget, capital fund to allow us to draw down, to pay for the construction, and then it will be reimbursed to the district. So we're not spending district money. We're just, this is a placeholder until the state pays us back. So just for everyone out there in TV land, reminder. So all in favor of approving this resolution, say aye.
I have a further comment.
Yes, thank you.
And just for clarification, this is the only time we need to approve this and make this transfer, correct? Because then we'll have like a rolling system, or this automatically approves us to make these transfers back and forth as needed, potentially?
That's correct, Sean, right?
Yes,
Yep.
okay.
Okay, thanks. So all in favor of approving this resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Moving on, our next order of business is the superintendent report.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I had some fun experiences last week. One, Eric and I were able to go last Wednesday to Lewis and Clark's parent evening. We watched as parents and a few students all worked through different stations with the principal and the dual language coach and our multilingual coordinator, and they were moving through different groups and stations based on the dual language advisory committee work. So mission statements, vision statements, what is the seal of biliteracy and how do students get that? And then like just global aspects of bilingualism, biculturalism, and biliteracy. So it was a great evening, and so that was wonderful. Last week's monthly Superintendent's Advisory Council meeting ended up, it was a little bit poor planning. We had all of our West Side students and 2 Wenatchee High School students because they had their 4th period final during that week. So it was great that they were prioritizing their education. But we still had a great time. We reviewed the board meeting on January 13th. Marika Campbell was with us when we had that board meeting, so she gave her highlights of the meeting. We also summarized a list of student engagement activities around the bond and how we can engage our students in that process. And then we briefly discussed a plan to potentially create a student bond assembly that they can take not only to the high school but also to the middle schools to further engage students in that process. And then I saw the most unique final last week at the PUD's main boardroom. Daniel Deal's energy management class was given a challenge, the Clean Energy Challenge from the PUD, where each student group had a budget of $500 million, and they had to build a clean energy plan around that. They had to build the plan. They had to include the property where the plan would be implemented. They had to go through the permitting process and cooperate with local governments involved. So those students were really living Big Six, number 6, real and relevant learning. It was, and so the three presentations that were voted on by the class as the best actually presented to the PUD. So it was super fun. We also had a restructuring committee last night, and so we went over some of the items that the restructuring committee had brainstormed in December about how to potentially do some restructuring and some stackable ideas for the district. Each team went through not only the pros and cons of these ideas, but also how much each idea could potentially save the district financially, or how much it could drive enrollment as well. So we had a great discussion, and we're working on getting that group ready to present to the board this spring. We have a community volunteer and we have 2 staff volunteers that are ready to present. So then we're going to work collaboratively to get them here. So that'll be excellent. And then just a reminder, Thursday is our next migrant family night at Wenatchee High School in the New Commons. Student Threat Assessment Coordinator Hunter McLeod will be there. She's going to be talking about worrisome behaviors on social media, substance abuse, and gang awareness at that meeting. So please join us. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Corey. That leads us to board communication. Caroline, do you want to start us off?
I don't got nothing. I've been very slow.
Go easy.
Yeah.
Julie.
Yeah, I don't have much either. I'm still wrapping my head around the fact that January is almost over and we're halfway through a school year. I do want to say thank you, though, to all the students and the administrators who helped the students put together these beautiful posters and flower baskets and whatnot. It's humbling, and it's what we do this work for is for our students. So I very much appreciate it. So thank you.
Mark.
Just a reminder that the high school is putting on the importance of being earnest. Tickets are not on sale yet, but mark your calendars for March 12th through the 21st.
Yeah.
Yeah, I attended the Multicultural Fest a couple of weeks ago at the, it was actually a little over a week ago at the museum, MLK weekend. And I saw the performance from the Lewis and Clark Folklorico dance group, as well as Mariachi Wenatchee. It was a really well-attended event, and I love to see, a lot of the main performers were students from our school district. And Martin, our former board member, was recognized for the Uplift Award. There was 3 finalists, and they couldn't decide among the committee, so all 3 of them received the award. But I think Martin, is a great example of the work of a school board member that's retired. Side note. And then I want to just highlight a community concern, just again with our with what's been happening in our country. And I think there's a lot of anxiety right now, given everything that's happened the last several weeks. And just, I know we talked about this probably a year ago, but it feels like what we talked about and the information that public schools, higher education was putting out doesn't really apply anymore, because now it seems like there's no limits. And I think it's important that we as a school district acknowledge our community. Obviously, we can't promise to keep them safe or that we're going to keep ICE agents off of our schools. That was a law back, or it still is, but is it being applied? And so there's a lot of fear. I actually I was at Starbucks last week, and a teacher said, "Hey, can ICE come into our schools?" And the reality is that I don't know how to answer that because I don't know what rules apply anymore, right? So, just remember to check in on your neighbors. There's a lot of people that can't walk their kids to school because of the fear. It's very clear that they're targeting large events or events where people congregate. So I think it's important to just kind of send a reminder to our not just our families and our students, but also our employees that, hey, we're here to provide support, whatever that looks like, community resources, and just to check in on your neighbors.
Thanks, Maria. It's a good reminder for all of us. Somber now. I'm like, I went to the SAC meeting with the other 6 high school students and Corey. But I'm continually impressed by the engagement of the students. Like, they have opinions. They're happy to share them. They're participating. They're coming to board meetings. Apparently not this one though. But I really appreciate. I think as we move toward finding ways to incorporate student voice, I think having at least that Superintendent Advisory Council set up and feeding kind of some thoughts into the process is helpful, and I'd look forward to finding other ways where we can get them either here or presenting more often. And then I also want to say, echo what Julie said, thank you for all of our amazing artwork, and I'm especially excited about the portraits down below, and I can't wait to look in the folder behind me. But other than that, I think that's it. Thank you, everyone, and meeting's adjourned.